Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome back to another empowering episode of Trauma Talk Tuesday. I'm Juanita Gaynor and I'm your guide through a candid conversation about healing and growth. You know, if you're new here, consider subscribing and joining our community. Each Tuesday, we deep dive into stories of resilience, triumph, and a journey towards healing from trauma. We know these conversations can be tough, but they're crucial. Together, we can create a safe space to share and to learn and to support one another. So, before we jump in to today's discussion, I want you to go ahead and like and subscribe or hit that bell notification so that you know every time we come on stage for you. And so, what are we going to be talking about today? We are going to be talking about healed from trauma, rebuilding a sense of security after betrayal. That is true. You have to build a sense of security after betrayal. I know that can be hard sometimes. I know for me, when I was betrayed, I kind of held it in. I kind of didn't want to deal with anything, kind of, just was like, I'm good. But it's not always the way to actually do it. So when I think about betrayal, let's understand what betrayal is. Betrayal is a breach of trust that can leave lasting and emotional scars. It manifests in various forms like infidelity, deception, violation of personal boundaries, and it has a profound emotional impact. And what betrayal can do and possibly will do to you is it will leave you not trusting your own judgment. I know. I remember when my divorce happened, I doubted every decision I had ever made in life. Everything didn't come together. Nothing made sense anymore. I didn't trust myself to do the basics because this had fallen apart. And how could I not identify something was going wrong when actually it had nothing to do with me? And I think we internalize the trauma that is done to us because we were made to feel that we have to be perfect. We were made to feel that we can't make any mistakes. We have to be, superwoman or superman. We have to make sure everyone else is good. And so anytime we come into play with that, or we have to think of self-care or something happens to us, we feel guilty. So we look at someone else doing us wrong as something that we fell short. And I don't want you to feel that way. When someone does us wrong, when someone violates our boundaries, when someone betrays us, that is on them. Now, I know people will say, well, if you let them do it, more than once, it's on you. I agree and I disagree. I agree to the fact of once you've gone through a healing process and once you understand that those boundaries that you had were really violated or that certain things happened, then you can enforce those boundaries. But if you don't know that those were violations, if that's how you was raised, if your boundaries and everything, your personal autonomy was always violated, if that was a way of life for you, then you don't necessarily know that that stuff's being violated or crossed. you know Clean example, personal example. Myself, I wasn't aware, just even in my abuse, that that wasn't normal, because living with my mom, it happened consistently. It was an everyday thing. So when my grandmother got custody, or when we used to go to my grandmother's house and those things didn't happen, I thought that was weird. I really, for a long time, would think that these people were weird because abuse had been such ingrained and as a part of my life that I didn't know anything else. It wasn't until I began the healing process, until I began to listen to other people's stories, until I began to hear people talk out about it, against it, and telling how wrong it is, that I began to realize that, wait a minute, this shouldn't have happened. And so therefore there's layers to identifying that trauma and healing, and knowing that it was a trauma, that it was a violation, and that you need to move forward with it. So don't beat yourself up if you're like, oh, I should have known better. You shouldn't. It's a layer. Once you know better, you'll do better. Now, when we talk about betrayal, one of the things we do not do is we do not acknowledge the pain of it. We like to shuffle it down like it doesn't matter. It is so important that you acknowledge it. See, the first step towards healing and continual healing is to acknowledge the pain that was caused by the betrayal. Like, it is crucial to confront and process these emotions. It's not a sign of weakness, but it's a vital aspect of reclaiming control over your emotions. Like I said, betrayal can take so many forms. So, one example, I had a good friend. I had asked a favor, and even though I did what I said I was going to do much later, it still, caused a rift, and it was still considered a betrayal by the person, because I did not keep my word and do what I was supposed to do when I said I was going to do it. And so what that contributed is like, okay, that's a pain. That's a betrayal to that person. And no matter what I can do, or my thought process was, if I've done it or whatever, I should be good, whatever. That's not how that works. The person set a boundary, and said, I'm good. Like, we can always, connect if something happens, but that chapter was fully closed. And I had to recognize that and accept that even though I may have made that person whole, I didn't do it within the time period in which I initially said I was going to do that. And so I am telling you, when, people ask for forgiveness or things like that, you have the right to accept and just say, we're good. It's okay to do that, because now you understood, you've acknowledged that it hurt you. You understood the pain of it. And now you've put a boundary in. Like, I can definitely forgive you. I can move forward. However, that part in my life that you had, you no longer have. And it is okay to do that, because it's a part of the healing process. Because until you fully heal from a situation, you being connected to that person or connected to the thing that hurt you is going to hurt, because you're now understanding that other things may have happened that you didn't look at as a betrayal. And that is the funny thing, because sometimes we wonder why certain things still hurt. Why does it feel painful? It's because we're still connected at some point to the person that went through that pain, meaning us, a version of us that's connected to that pain. And so you're like, but I am healed. Healing is a process. As you heal, in the incremental stages in which you heal through, you are going to then get better understanding. You're growing. You're looking at things. So therefore, now certain things we become desensitized to, we're not desensitized anymore. So there's going to be a lot of things and remembrances you're going to have as you get to certain levels in your healing. And the reason you're going to get to those is because now you're emotionally able to deal with it. You're emotionally able to look at it from a clean perspective and be like, okay, this hurt me. This is why it hurt me. And this is why I'm no longer in the situation. This was really jacked up. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I lived through that. And that is what growth does. It opens up additional wounds so that you can see the perspective, so that you can heal those wounds. Because right now, a lot of us have bad band-aids and bad scabs on old wounds, and they're festering, but they haven't killed us. That's what you got to understand. They have not killed us, only because we're still growing and we're still understanding and we're still healing and we're still getting perspectives. We're still understanding pain. We're still understanding what the boundaries are. So therefore, even though that wound is still there, it hasn't killed us because the process still has to take effect. So when it's time to clean that wound, you're now able to, you're healthy. You don't want to, rip open and bleed all out and then, you're gone. We don't want that. It is a progression. Will some things be quicker than others? Absolutely, because your life depends. And usually that is when you remove yourself from the situation immediately. That is the emotional jerking that is done immediately because something has happened that's triggered and is like, I'm out. Do sis. That's what you do. So don't beat yourself up if you're still feeling the pain. It's a part of the process. And one of the things that I strongly recommend is getting support. You need support. See, recovery from betrayal is not a journey that's meant to be taken alone. You got to seek support from family, friends, or therapists and to provide a safe space to express feelings and gain perspectives. See, talking through the experiences is instrumental in understanding healings. Now, if the family and the friends are the cause of the trauma, that is what mental health professionals are for. And I'm going to say this, and I know a lot of people don't take this thought process, the way I'm going to say this, but I'm going to be openly honest. When I say seek support, mental health support, it doesn't mean your pastor. It doesn't mean a church official. It means a licensed clinician to do it. And you know why? Because you wouldn't go to your doctor to do open heart surgery. You wouldn't go to your doctor to fix a broken leg. Your bishop, your pastor to, fix a broken leg. Why would you go to them to fix something emotionally or mental? I think what we have to understand is that with our spiritual background, it goes in conjunction with our medical. It goes hand in hand. They work together for the whole person. So do not feel, like you can't talk to your pastor about it. But see, that's not their goal. That is not their purpose. And sometimes burdening them with something that is not their purpose. They're going to talk with you because they love you. They want you to be good, but that burdens them in a way that gives them no outlet to talk about. They were not trained. That is not what God's purpose was for them. So therefore, they're carrying an extra burden unnecessarily. So keep that within the mental health professionals who went to school, who sought it out, who trained to do that when you're seeking support. I am a full believer of always using mental health professionals. So as you're seeking that support, set boundaries. I know. Sometimes we are pushovers and we want everybody to be happy and we want everyone to be good. And that is not always the case. Betrayal often results in, from a breach of boundaries, meaning none. So in the healing process, we have to reassess and establish clear boundaries for our future relationships, current relationships. Setting them, healthy boundaries is a proactive step towards, protecting and maintaining your security, your sanity, your well-being. And as you set those boundaries, you sought the support, you set the boundaries, you've acknowledged the pain. Now it's time for self-reflection and forgiveness. And I know this is the hardest aspect for a lot of people because it was hard for me. It was hard for me. You know, self reflection is powerful. Um, and it's taking time to understand my role in the relationship and identify areas for personal growth that is essential. Now, see, forgiveness was the one I always got caught up on because I'm thinking, why should I forgive this person because they did that? And why should I forgive them? They should be apologizing to me. What I found out and learned that me forgiving the person or the peoples lifted a barrier off of me that allowed me to breathe. And with that being said, now that I can breathe, I can function and I can think. I can move. I don't have this brick of things on me because I'm still upset and angry at them. I still want them to seek the wrath, receive the wrath of God. Once I've forgiven them, I've let that off of me. And now I can focus on my overall healing. So forgiveness is hard. And it is really hard sometimes, a lot of the time, not sometimes, it is really hard a lot of the times when you know they're not sorry, when you know they don't care. That hurts. But you have to forgive them because then what you're doing is releasing yourself from their control because someone else now has control of your emotions. So, in forgiving them, you have relinquished their control and you've regained control so that you can set and keep the boundaries in which you've done. And when you go through acknowledging your pain and getting your support system in place, and you have your boundaries and you've gone through your self-reflection and you've gone through your forgiveness, it is now time to start rebuilding the trust. See, the gradual process of rebuilding trust is not overnight. It involves open communication, consistency, a commitment to transparency. Trust is earned over time, and you have to allow it naturally. It has to develop naturally. Just in my current relationship, what he did with me was he was just consistent in everything he did. He didn't just talk the talk; he walked the walk. He never said, I told you so. He never made me feel stupid. It was just like, okay. I would spaz out. I would have meltdowns. And he would be like, okay. And he would let me have them. And then it'd be like, okay, how do you want to handle it? What do you want to do? I can come to the same conclusion he gave me. And he would be like, okay, babe, let's go with that. And I think it was after a while, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why? Because he's proven and shown that he was trustworthy. And don't beat yourself up if you're in a situation like that, where whether it's romantic or just platonic friendships, where they've shown consistently that they're there, that they're that person. Don't beat yourself up if you kind of doubt it, because you are learning to retrust again. It's gradual. It's not going to be overnight. And the people who are extending that and the people who are doing for you, they will understand and they will not use it against you. Not at all. You know, and when you've done that and you've rebuilt the trust, now you have to get your resilience in place. You have to develop coping mechanisms. You got to practice self-care. You have to focus on your personal growth, because embracing that resilience allows you to emerge stronger and armed with the wisdom gained through the adversity. Like, it's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing learning process, and you're not alone in it. But I will tell you that a part of that resilience process, self-care, is so important. And it doesn't take a lot. It could be making your favorite, not even making, it could be going and get your favorite coffee beans and stuff, whatever, to make your cup of coffee every morning. That could be your level of self-care. That cup of coffee that sets your day. That time to meditate, the manicures, the pedicures, the baby buying a book, maybe a lipstick or some earrings. All of it is self-care. prioritize that and make it a part of your healing process. So when I think about, healing from betrayal, it's a transformative journey. So during this journey, you have to acknowledge your pain. You got to seek support, set your boundaries, you know, practice your self reflection and forgiveness, and cultivate your resilience. Remember, healing is a process that, with patience and self compassion, can lead to a brighter, more empowered future. Now, if you or someone you know has experienced betrayal, remember that healing is a journey worth taking. So share your thoughts and experiences or tips in the comments below, and let us create a supportive community. And don't hesitate to reach out for support from friends, family, or professionals. Like, remember, your story may inspire someone else on their path to healing. Together, together, we can navigate the journey from betrayal to empowerment. And so I want to thank you so, so, so much. So, so, so much. And joining us for this episode of Trauma Talk Tuesday. Hey, it is our goal to make sure that you have everything you need in your life. So if you resonated with today's discussion, give a thumbs up, share it with someone who might benefit. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more insightful conversations on healing and growth. Click the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell if you miss an episode. If you missed previous episodes, no worries. You can check them out for more inspiring stories and helpful insights. And for a continuous stream of healing content, you can always continue to look out for more as we come about. And we love hearing from you. Share your thoughts and experiences on any topics you like us to cover in the comments. Your voice matters. Connect with us on social media for behind the scenes content and updates and more. You can follow us on @JuanitaE.Gaynor, and all the links are on our thing. So thank you for being a part of Trauma Talk Tuesday. Thank you for being a part of the family. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. And until next Tuesday, take care of yourself and each other. Know that we love you, be blessed, and we'll see you next week.